The only thing that stopped this from genuinely turning into a civil war is that like a lot of liberals are still holding on to this notion that like Democrats will do something here. When they start realizing that Democrats aren't doing something here, when they start realizing that the law is not on their side at all, when they're all alone and the only thing they have is other people, there will be more chaos. Yeah, and like I said, I pointed out that it's a legal gray area. Here's a sheriff calling it straight up, made up law enforcement.
I'm Rochelle Bilal, the sheriff for the city and county of Philadelphia. And I say her name, Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. This should not have happened, but we're here today. Let know that law enforcement professionals, real ones, not the fake made up ICE, probably Trump's new army to attack citizens of the United States. Did you hear what I said? No law enforcement professional wears a mask. None.
Well,
Those that come into our communities wearing a mask to commit crime, thank God for our district attorney, Larry Kraftner, who said he...
We're going to have cops using ICE as a reputation builder for the rest of the admin, huh? I mean, low key, yes. Because as the situation worsens on one side, the other side is not as bad, comes across as better. You know what I mean? That's just how it works. ICE is so bad and so illegal in their conduct that unironically they make cops look better in comparison. It's also entirely dependent on where or how police officers conduct themselves on the streets going forward. If they actually do start processing, if they actually do start apprehending, like if the local Minneapolis Police Department actually stopped Jonathan Ross and arrested them, okay, I would have been thin blue line all the way, baby. Because that's what they should have done. That's their job. You can't let someone get away with murdering a citizen that you're supposed to be tasked with protecting and serving. That thin blue line would turn into a thick one, okay? Easiest dub of all time. You can't do that. What are you, crazy? Prime example of ICE not being able to do anything to a citizen because they have no jurisdiction. They just use bullying tactics with no real force and they know it. Yeah.
Plate number, driving erratically, very dangerous to the public.
How you doing?
Good, how about you?
You're interfering with our operations.
Not
You
at
can
all.
be arrested
Not at
under
all.
18 USC 111.
Nope.
That's not true. They can't do They're not real cops. And even a real cop is not technically supposed to be able to do anything in this situation. If you're just like on a sidewalk, you're not impeding an investigation. But cops do have the legal authority to just make up. Cops have the legal authority to like, at least they have the legal grounds to make up to try and detain you, even if you can argue in court whether or not that detainment is appropriate or not. ICE agents don't even have that. Okay, especially if you're an American citizen. It's just like you're just making up. You don't have any fucking. You do not have the right to arrest a random person on the sidewalk. The fuck are you talking about? A random American on the sidewalk? Suck my dick.
Not if you have been interfering with our operations.
We're following us
Go process paperwork, little bro. Get the fuck out of here.
yesterday.
Numerous
Watch
times.
what you're doing, dude.
Numerous times you've been
Not
interfering
interfering.
with our operations.
Not interfering.
Yes, you are.
No, I am not.
If you
Never got in
continue,
front of you.
you will be in handcuffs. You will be arrested. You will be
18
prosecuted.
U.S. Code 111. Get that through your head,
That's
dude.
a lot of numbers you just remember.
Yep.
Good job. I'm not breaking the law and you fucking know it.
Yes, you are.
Not breaking the law
Yes, you are.
and you fucking know it. Never got in front of everyone. Never.
One more time and I will put you in handcuffs.
I need you guys to understand something. Annoying a cop is not illegal. Annoying an ICE agent is not illegal. Okay? And anytime dumb, whether they be Asmongold or any number of different right-wingers, try to make it seem like it's actually not only illegal, but criminality that reaches the point of like state-sponsored execution, they're bootlicking and they're wrong and they're creating a permission structure for this administration to continue murking people, okay? There are rules. These guys are actually lying in this moment. Cops lie all the fucking time, and so do ICE agents, okay? Your feelings getting hurt, sorry, sucks to suck, is not going to give you a opportunity to kill someone or arrest them. You can't do that.
One more time. Keep it up.
Step the off, you piece
No,
of shit.
no, I'll stand right here, pal. Right here all day.
If I touch you, then you're gonna go arrest me.
Right all day.
Yeah, you.
You are worthless. Worthless.
You.
You are. You have no honor.
Hold your dogs back. Hold your.
Standing on the pavement and impeding an officer has the same vibes as an incel victim blaming a woman with cleavage out. You are distracting me. You are definitely asking for me to make a move on you right now. Exactly. Making a trap believe that you can get away with erratic behavior in a war full of bad cops and ICE agents is not good advice. Brother, I'm not saying you should do this. I'm just saying what the law is, okay? You need to understand something. I know it's very difficult for you to comprehend this, but just because bad cops or bad ICE agents are not following the letter of the law doesn't mean you can cause me to submit in this moment where I'm actually talking about who's at fault here in a murder case. Shut the up. What a lot of you are doing is coping with the reality that there are a ton of people out there who are power tripping because you want to lick the boot and you want to defend it. And now you're using the illegal misconduct that sometimes even might escalate into a point of execution to justify cowering in fear in every single circumstance. Get the fuck out of here. Another one, ICE threatens a citizen. Yeah, Minneapolis. Border Patrol agents warned 2 white women in separate SUVs to stop trailing them and not to impede. Don't make a bad decision today. And that's the whole point. This is the reason why the Trump administration is not backing away from this, because they do want to create an environment of fear when they do not have the law on their side. They are just telling their Gestapo agents to threaten people, okay? But that's all they can say. Don't make a bad decision. And that's precisely the reason why I'm saying we can't let this one get away. We cannot let Jonathan Ross get away with murder, because if they do get away with murder, then yes, the precedent, albeit not on legal grounds, but the precedent is set that they could just shoot and kill people and get away with it. And if the law is not going to do it, we have to do it. We have to pressure the government to do it by protesting. It's ridiculous. How is this so difficult to comprehend? That's why I say it's us versus them in this situation. And unless you are a part of the billionaire pedophile club, you are not a part of that group. You will not be protected. Okay? So it might not come across. It might come across like I'm just some dumb commie. Okay? That's really emotional in this moment. But I'm actually trying to protect your rights for you. Whether you cannot put this through your dense skull or not doesn't matter.
Interfering with us, honking your horn, blocking our cars, you have a very high probability of making a really bad decision and being arrested today, okay?
I think I'm making exactly
I'm not.
the right decision.
Oh, then why are you giving her a warning?
I'm giving her a warning to not interfere with what we're doing, to not make a bad decision today and ruin your life.
Whoa, bad
Okay,
decisions.
thank
That's
you.
Funny.
Bad decision and ruin your life.
Thank you.
Okay, alrighty. Thank you. Have a good day.
I hope you have a terrible day.
Okay, thank you.
Like, that's a BORTAC guy, man. This is special weapons and tactics for Customs and Border Patrol. You guys understand that, right? Like, these guys are trained overseas. This is the most militarized unit that the Customs and Border Patrol has. They're not supposed to be doing like regular detainments. What the the point of why they have special weapons and tactics or spec ops, Customs and Border Patrol, is for like drug apprehensions, like massive like cartel operations, shit like that. These guys are, yeah, IDF trained. They're not trained for crowd control. What the fuck? You can put BORTAC on any vest, bro? No, I think they are sending BORTAC units out there, for the record. I don't think it's... No, I don't think they're just like LARPing as BORTAC. I think they are actually BORTAC. Because if you look at their gear, it looks like they are BORTAC. I'm too old for Twitch. Thank you for the 20 gifted subs.
Yeah, there's a lot of ice around here.
Just so you know, if we continue to have you follow us, okay, have fun. Don't make a bad decision today.
Like, that's a threat. Like, this is after Renee Good was killed, by the way. So what these guys are basically doing, is threatening all of the other people. It's not even a veiled threat. It's a very clear-cut threat. And this is how they're behaving. They are not supposed to be on the Minneapolis streets to begin with, especially not Bortak. Bortak was the one that was doing the black bagging and kidnapping in Portland. Last time there was, the BLM protests that were taking place, if you remember, they would go in unmarked vans, go outside, and just literally kidnap people in the streets. It was one of the most insane things I've ever seen, and we didn't say anything about it at that point. And now, look, they're processing regular detainments on the streets, and not even regular detainments, but like they're basically just going around threatening random people. I don't understand how people do not, like, I genuinely don't get how you think this is appropriate. I don't understand it at all. I like, something must be broken in your brain to not realize what this means, to not realize like how far we have moved in a particular direction. Like, this is a military dictatorship style situation taking place right now. You have militarized units that are illegally conducting operations that are specifically designed to strike fear in the minds and hearts of regular people, your neighbors. And you sit there and you justify it. It blows my mind, dude. You are not Mr. Freedom at all. For the record, I will say this. Live, we're with Border Patrol as they're being trailed by at least 2 SUVs in Minneapolis. Yeah, Fox News is also live with Border Patrol. They're trying to do state propaganda.
This is a blue Rivian, an electric truck. It's been trailing us now for miles. What are you guys going to do?
Well, we're going to observe the situation, and if that individual does anything that would indicate that they're going to impede our federal law enforcement operation, we're going to stop. We're going to give them a warning, and then from there, they will be arrested for impeding.
Yeah, let's try to get this guy on the street somewhere and stop, and then we'll let him know.
That SUV is also trailing you and beeping at you right now.
That is correct. And as you can see, that individual just made an abrupt...
Oh, no. Oh, no. They're hurting your feelings? They're hurting my feelings, which means they're impeding on an investigation. Sorry. We have to kill you now. They're honking. They're honking at me, and they're filming me. Mike from PA mentioned recently that this same was a factor in the Civil War. Southern states would send in slave catchers to northern states and purposely provoke people. Yeah. Slave catchers would go up to the northern states for slave extraction, okay? And they wouldn't actually extract anyone at all, obviously, and that concept is such a fucking disgusting one to begin with that it like feels weird even saying it out loud like that. But instead of doing like any sort of slave catching, they were there specifically, which wouldn't be appropriate even if they were doing that, for the record. I just want to repeat that over and over again. But they were there just to cause cause commotion and create an environment of instability.
U-turn because he realized he crossed the line with us, and if we encounter him again, we're going to stop him, issue him a warning, and let him know you keep doing this, you're going to jail.
Yeah, if you're wondering why Jonathan Ross was holding his iPhone in one hand and the gun in the other, one possibility is from Drew Harwell's reporting. ICE is under pressure from the White House to create as much content as possible. Isn't that nuts? Like, they are trying to make like Department of Homeland Security Twitter videos, dude. That's what it is. They're trying to do like libtard own compilations, and then they ended up doing murder. Oh, they arrested someone for hitting a Border Patrol car. Yeah. Intense video. Minneapolis anti-ICE protest. Woman appeared to hit a Border Patrol SUV as it drove by with an agent inside. Another person appeared to spit on the SUV as well. This video shows the woman being apprehended by agents. This just happened.
Step back. She hit a vehicle.
Yeah, hit with her hand or body, not car, by the way. They're now saying she hit a Border Patrol vehicle with her hand or body. Bro, if you cannot see how much this is turning into Israel and you are Hamas, you are the Palestinians in this equation, I don't know what to tell you. Like, that is where we're at. This is exactly how Israel occupies the West Bank. This is exactly what the Israeli occupational forces do in the West Bank. And the difference is your neighbors are now treated as you know, a force that must be occupied. Our own government is doing this to us, and people are falling asleep at the wheel. United States of Israel, man. This is what's going on. Yeah, a chatter was brutalized yesterday as well. I know this is that's a chatter, I think. Right? He sent this video to me earlier. He's in the chat, so luckily he's fine. Bro, murder is the next meta in content creators, bro. Get on the bandwagon. Yeah. What do you think of liberals who use instances such as this to demonstrate why leftists should have voted for Kamala Harris? I have no respect for them because in this moment, if they are not out in the streets protesting against the Trump administration and using this as an instance to left bash when the left was objectively correct, when their criticisms were on Kamala Harris dropping the ball because they knew that this would happen, or at least in my circumstance, this is exactly what I said was going to happen, which is why I said Kamala Harris needed to be better at actually advocating for how this was going to happen, and she never did. Instead, she took a pro-border control stance, a pro-lethal military stance for some reason, and ended up losing because she was dancing around with Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney. This was my point. And liberals who just did not recognize this reality for some weird reason are now, instead of having a moment of self-reflection, having a moment of honesty, and realizing that the far graver threat is the fascism that is coming down right now, that is happening right now, are still trying to left bash for some reason. They're trying to yell at the people that are getting arrested. Your ego doesn't matter, okay? Stop trying to protect your ego. Lock in. This is the exact same reason why the left was also correct when we criticized a bunch of Democrats, 75 of them, I believe, that voted for the Lake and Riley Act in the Congress, in both the Senate and the House of Representatives, or even a larger number, I believe. This is it. Democrats actually are basically funding the bullets that are being used on people like Renee Good when they don't stand in opposition to this. It's ridiculous. Yeah, and the 70-odd Democrats who went on the record to thank ICE for their service, like, what are we doing?
fucking Nazi. You're a fucking Nazi. So are you. You're a fucking Nazi. All of you are fucking Nazis. How the fuck do you think that happened? You're all fucking Nazis. You're a fucking Nazi. You don't care? You're a fucking Nazi. Pussy. Pussy. Yeah. Pussy.
Fucking don't want to stand alongside leftists to protest, but also don't organize their own protests because they don't ever do shit. Exactly. But that's not true, though, because the liberal chirpers online that are trying to preserve their egos are out of touch little shitheads. But there are plenty of people who voted blue, no matter who, that are on the streets. As a matter of fact, I go so far as to say there are more people on the streets that are of that variety, just like regular old libs who recognize right from wrong, who are actually taking it to the streets, older in general, and even wealthier on average. That's what I see when I see these videos. I mean, there's Hasanabi heads here and there, but let's be real. There are a ton of older liberals out there who are very frustrated. More so than the youth. Let's be real. The youth are super checked out.
You're a fucking Nazi. You're a fucking Nazi. You're a fucking Nazi. Go home. You're a fucking Nazi. Go fuck yourself. Pussy. Pussy, I'm talking to you, bitch. You're a fucking Nazi. You're a fucking Nazi. Pussy.
Another thing that's like totally up here is that the Democrats are not even capitalizing on this to win easy political points. Like, look at this. During the moment of silence, the Minnesota Timberwolves held before their game with the Cavs tonight. A fan yelled, "Go home ice," and everyone else started cheering. Now, understand something. This happened the night that Renee Good was shot and killed, right? By an ICE agent. If you want to understand how little the average person or even corporations give a shit about the administration's messaging on this, think about that. Okay. Oh, sorry. This is the day after. Think about that. The administration at this point have spent 24 hours calling Renee Good a domestic terrorist. So technically, if anybody actually took what the administration is saying seriously, what is going on here is doing a moment of silence for basically like ISIS, right? Like we're talking about doing a moment of silence for a domestic terrorist. You realize that, right? Like you understand that no one is actually taking what this administration is saying seriously. And this is yet another indication of that, because clearly they tried to go along with this, like this person is domestic terrorist narrative, and no one fucking gave a shit. Even corporations don't give a shit. People clearly don't give a shit. Like this is like doing a moment of silence for Hamas. Ahmad on r/Timberwolves kept deleting the clip and ICE comments, and they booted him from the sub. Democrats love ICE, bro. They literally agree with what they're doing. That is the only conclusion. No, this is not Democrats. You're talking about Democratic Party politicians. Okay? Until they show us that they're with it, until they show us that they're willing to go out and take it to the streets, until they show us with their actual legislative line items that they're against ICE, that they want to take away ICE's funding, that they want to stop ICE, that they plan to punish ICE agents and this administration for doing all of this like unlawful fascist nonsense. They are complicit in this. But the Democratic voters themselves are not on board. Okay? Please make no mistake. There are a lot of people out there who are lifelong blue down the line voters, blue no matter who voters, who are very frustrated with this. And not only are they very frustrated with this, but they're also waking up to the reality. They're waking up to the reality that the Democratic Party's representatives are not even representing their anger and frustration. That's precisely the reason why there is an unprecedented level of unpopularity for the opposition party at a time when there's an even higher level of unpopularity for the administration. That's the big difference. Dems right now are not even doing 2016 style resistance liberalism. I do not know where they go from here, but it's crazy to me that they're not even trying to get ahead of the momentum that is building. I said this earlier. Look, I said, I'm going to say it one more time. The liberals are waking up while the Dems are being weirdly timid here. No organizing, no party funds. It's the midterms too. I know I on the Dems a lot, but this is a totally new level of incompetence. Not even 2016 resistance liberalism. It's crazy. And I low key, I think AOC is also not doing enough. And the only people that are aesthetically doing things is like Gavin Newsom, for example. Gavin Newsom knows what time it is. He obviously is not going to be the change, right? He is going to be just as ridiculous, just as ineffective as like, you know, a Kamala Harris presidency would. He's basically just going to be the guy who siphons all of those voters who want some sort of change, right? He's going to siphon all of that angst and animosity that people feel towards the current administration. And his job is to just like mog people, right? That's basically all he's doing. He is not going to represent a serious change. He is not on board with any sort of significant change. He's not showing us that he's on board with any significant change. He's just simply doing like posts on Twitter. And what's really frustrating about this is that you either are going to get people who funnel into Gavin Newsom because at least he's the only one that's like, you know, seemingly fighting back through posts, or they're just not going to have anything at all. Like that's the two options that we have in the Dem leadership and the future of the party right now is the Bernie-crats not actually really stressing the importance of the moment, not actually coming out and swinging and saying like, hey, this is illegal. We will punish these people. You need to remember that you are not going to be in power forever. And when you are out of power, we will arrest you. We will prosecute you. That's what AOC should be saying right now. If she wants to be the new leader of the party, she should be out there organizing. She should be out there going to Minneapolis. There should be demonstrations. There should be protests. And yes, once again, don't let liberals try to do revisionism on Kamala Harris and the Democrat Party. This is how they campaigned against Donald Trump.
Kamala Harris has spent decades fighting violent crime. As a border state prosecutor, she took on drug cartels and jailed gang members for smuggling weapons and drugs across the border. As vice president, she backed the toughest border control bill in decades. And as president, she will hire thousands more border agents and crack down on fentanyl and human trafficking. Fixing the border is tough. So is Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Here's the thing, like, we need a Jean-Luc Mélenchon. That's it. We need a Mélenchon. If there was a Mélenchon-style Democrat right now, they would be cleaning the table. If there was a fighter who wasn't just like doing posts, okay, who wasn't just like aesthetically posturing against the administration like Gavin Newsom, but actually body on the line. And the closest we have to that, unfortunately, to admit here is Ro Khanna, literally. Like the closest we have to that is Ro Khanna right now, which is crazy to say. You know, I've had plenty of criticisms for the guy, but he is doing something. We have Ro Khanna, we have Van Hollen. But as far as like ambitions for higher office, someone who has the capacity to do so, AOC would be that person. AOC could be that person, and she's not being that person right now. Like, you will bring up people like, you know, Dr. Abdul El Sayed or Kat Abu Ghazaleh. Like, yes, Summer Lee, but these are not people that have ambitions for higher office or the capacity to potentially win higher office right now, right? Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, they're doing their best in the positions that they're in. AOC, on the other hand, has like national prominence. That's why I keep stressing that. We're talking about someone with a national platform. But yeah, Biden and Obama increased ICE funding, and Kamala Harris ran on being tougher on the border than Trump. If we are going to get change, we can't lie about the Democratic Party's complicity. It's true. Lol, you weren't even concerned about ICE under Biden. You R-worded is so funny to say to Mike from PA. I like you, Hassan, but not going to lie. Abel, the Jamaican, says, I like you, Hassan, but not going to lie. Cringe every time you think the Dems are going to do something or even care about Americans. It's genuinely so cringe. You're a lib. Brother, we have no other options right now. You understand that, right? I'm trying to do anything I can for self-preservation, you know? Okay? There's a guy hemorrhaging wound here, and I'm trying to apply medical gauze, and you're like, why are you doing it, dude? Just bleed out and die. You know that, right? You understand that. Like, I'm not saying the Democratic Party is going to be our savior or anything. Make no mistake. But what options do we have? We have no options. There's nothing else. I'm trying to work within I'm trying to work with the things that we have at our disposal, or what we're supposed to. You are turning to diet fascists to save you. How do you not understand that? This is the new cell phone footage that came out with
hands on this video. Armando, you've had a chance to look at it, so have you, Brad. But Armando, let's start with you. Take a look at the video and tell us what you see.
By the way, one thing that I forgot to mention as well is that if you noticed in the cell phone video footage that we analyzed over and over again already, there's one thing that I find particularly interesting, a little strange, where he switches his cell phone from his dominant hand, when he's on his right hand, as he's moving across the car, to his non-dominant hand. And what I find very strange about that is, why would you do that? Why would you be filming with your dominant hand and then switch to your non-dominant hand? And we know why. It's because his service weapon is on his right side. That, to me, I think spells premeditation.
Yeah, Kira, I gotta say, you know, I'm not sure if that video has been seen by people here in the streets. I can tell you that the governor today called for a day of calm and unity. We certainly have unity. That's unity against ICE. All day long today they've been saying and chanting, ICE, get out of our streets. These are our streets. Hate does not make America great. And I can tell you that, you know, I think that video is going to lead to more questions and answers, quite frankly. The people here want to see an investigation unfold that is unbiased. I've spoken with a lot of people here who are a little bit skeptical about whether or not that could be possible. You can hear them right now, I'm just going to take a second here so you can hear. They've been chanting ICE out all day long. That's the main message that they have here. Actually, it's two messages. It's ICE, get out of our streets, and they want to see this ICE officer arrested.
We are learning that the ICE officer now has been identified as Jonathan Ross. What are we learning about him as we also now see the video there of the shooting via his own cell phone?
Yeah, we know that Jonathan Ross was part of a very specialized subgroup under the umbrella of ICE, essentially called the Special Response Team. This is a very highly trained group in tactical situations, very highly trained in firearm skills. We also know that he was involved in an incident just a few months ago in June where he was dragged by a car. DHS said that he suffered serious injuries and was even, I think, received more than 30 stitches as well. So we're going to learn a little bit more as the investigation unfolds. We heard state officials earlier today say that they're essentially moving forward full steam ahead with their own investigation after being told rather by FBI that they were going to essentially be pushed out of that federal investigation.
So, Armando, ICE allegedly barred this bystander that was claiming to be a physician coming in to check a pulse on Renee Good after she was shot. Do we know anything more about this physician? And does this speak to a force that is worried about loss of life?
Look, we're going to continue to report that out. We certainly haven't been able to identify for ourselves who this physician was, if they were a physician. I can tell you that when these dramatic incidents happen, the first thing that the federal agents want to do is take control of the scene. So essentially only let in people that they want to let in. So, you know, could this have been a mixture of that? It's very, very possible. I will say there's a lot of anger here with how they not only obviously treated Renee Good, but also the aftermath of that. You know, I think it's a very interesting. We're in a city, as you can tell. This is a very highly organized city. There's a lot of volunteers here. There's a lot of community activists. This is a city that has a long history of organizing against law enforcement, of protesting against law enforcement. We are just about half a mile away from where George Floyd was killed by a former Minneapolis police officer just a few years ago. So these scars run deep here in this community.
So, Brad, of course, I want your take, Brad Garrett, on the video now. We're going to go ahead and roll it. This video just into ABC News, believed to be taken by the ICE agent that shot and killed Renee Nicole Good. Let's take a look at the video together, Brad, and just tell me what you see and what you make of this.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the car.
So the issue here is, does it help promote that this woman is potentially a domestic terrorist? Obviously, the answer is no. I mean, it's like she's leaving a location, talking to her partner, her wife, I'm not sure, but having this conversation.
Why are the press publishing ICE footage as if definitive when the second before the shots are fired, ICE murderer drops his camera? Because they're... why did they censor her saying she's a veteran? No, she said she's a fucking veteran. That's what they censored. Okay, calm down. Calm down. But I need you to understand something. It is obvious to everyone with eyes and a fucking brain exactly what took place here. And those who are still justifying it are justifying it because they have no self-preservation skills whatsoever. I think this is the most incriminating video yet, shot from the killer's own POV. And at 31 seconds, you can clearly see Jonathan Ross grab his phone with his left hand so he can free up his right hand to unholster his gun before Renee starts driving. And then mutters less than 2 seconds after firing the shots that killed Renee Good. This was murder, plain and simple. And it was premeditated. Okay? He is looking for a legal kill in that moment because he's pissed off. He's frustrated. And the reason why he's frustrated is because these are liberal women who aren't actually respecting his authority. He's having a bad day, and it's very clear that he wants to punish someone for it. He wants to punish someone for having a bad day. And if you justify this kind of action, if you're still justifying this kind of action, You have no self-preservation skills at all, because this kind of action will inevitably come to you as well. You just think it won't, and you don't realize what kind of permission you are giving to the government, what kind of demands you're making. That's why, and this is another good point of the angle as well. The fact that we see her turn the wheel to the right means he sees her turn the wheel to the right. Okay? The steering wheel being turned to the right is clearly observed by Jonathan Ross. The car wheels have turned to the right at that point. He is, as you notice here, already on the right side of the hood. That's why I said hogs who are still defending this unlawful execution would watch their loved ones get killed in a similar fashion and thank the government for the lead. Disgusting bootlickers who don't even have the self-preservation instincts of an insect. What is this? Downfall is wild, though. Oh, my God. Oh, brother. I'm not even kidding when I say this. I think these guys don't even have this is like not even insect brain, I think. I think they're going to have a fell for it again award this time that is too hard to swallow. That's it. I think a lot of the right-wingers that are perceiving this from the perspective of like, my favorite content creator has more bots as opposed to your real viewers, don't realize that eventually they're going to have one fell for it again award that is going to be too hard to comprehend, and it's going to be a life-changing moment for them. Okay? When this happens to a loved one, they'll go, I didn't think the leopards would eat my face. I did not perceive the leopards would ever eat my face. Account based in India. Why does Asmongold have so many quote-unquote viewers like this? And so many defenders on Twitter like this? For the record, account based in India doesn't mean that it's actually an Indian LARPer. In most circumstances, it just means... The question is, why is it that the most botted website, aside from Kick, which is a website that gave Asmongold a contract, by the way, is Twitter, and all of these guys on the right-wing website that is Twitter, who are constantly pumping right-wing content, like neo-Nazi content in general, okay, and highlighting neo-Nazi content, fomenting neo-Nazi style sentiment, very right-wing sentiment. Why have they decided that Asmongold is one of the guys that they are defending tooth and nail? It's very interesting. I don't think this is something that Asmongold is doing deliberately, but I think that someone has been paying attention to it and thinks that this is a good argument. That thinks this is good for not only clicks, but also to drive discontent. It's interesting. I guess when you suck Elon Musk's cock, he rewards you like this with an army of bots in India. Call Train for his takes. Besides gambling, you guys actually agree on stuff, don't you? Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things that Trainwreck has always openly admitted. He's like, listen, Hassan is one of the few, if not one of the only top content creators on the platform that has never botted and does not bot. But he's talking specifically about like Twitch. He's not even talking about like Twitter. Just something that I find interesting. Okay? Something that I find interesting. Something that I find odd. I don't even know why I bother with Twitter anymore. I got dogpiled on every reply I do. You just can't ever listen to the replies. It's a fucking neo-Nazi show that has like real human beings there too. I still tackle it. I still tackle the issue to the best of my ability. Someone's got to do it. It's fine. You know, the reality of the matter is Billie Eilish post goes crazy hard. Billie Eilish calls ICE a state-funded terrorist organization. Hell yeah. Billie Eilish condemns ICE in new Instagram repost. ICE is a federally funded and supported terrorist group under the Department of Homeland Security that has done nothing to make our streets safer. It's also still a popular website internationally, unfortunately. I'm telling you, they all want to murder their 5th grade teacher. They want to execute women because their mom told them to go to bed. Yeah. There is definitely a big chunk of that on the internet. The problem in our country is just white women that are liberal. Why do people still watch Asmongold saying R.I.P. Bozo about a murdered woman should be the lost straw for people? A lot of people don't analyze politics as like good, bad dynamics and policy. They look at it as vibes. And if you have a heavily botted, stream, a lot of people real people will tune into it to hear what's up and develop a false sense of protection in that crowd where they think like, oh, everyone actually feels this way. Well, you know, maybe initially I thought this was a death or maybe initially I thought this was an unlawful execution, but now I'm seeing a lot of people actually make convincing arguments. So they find themselves in the crowd. The crowd has a very, you need to understand something. The crowd has a very alluring way of making you think that like, well, a lot of people feel this way, so maybe I should feel this way too. Like when they see a massive amount of people seemingly presenting a certain point of view, they think, oh, I should think this way too, especially when they don't have, they don't have any sort of like way of personalizing the violence that they're experiencing. If you don't have the capacity to empathize with a 37-year-old woman who got shot in broad daylight, cold-blooded murder, and you see a bunch of people justify that as like, you know, a totally legal kill, and you don't have any way of thinking about like the future repercussions of what you are leaning into, what kind of state violence you are considering to be justifiable, you are going to, you know, you're going to find yourself peer pressured into opinions that you don't necessarily agree with, or opinions that might actually hurt you, you know? Opinions that you agree with that might harm you down the line.
The partner seems to have some interaction with the ICE officer that I'm not sure what the context is, but the short answer is he runs up abruptly and, you know, tells her to get the F out of the car, doesn't really communicate with her, rushes the car. And so two things. Does it support domestic terrorism? Does it, at least up to that point, does it support intent to harm anybody? And the answer is no. I think this is another super sad situation where a lack of communication, I think, but certainly added to somebody being harmed. And the simplest thing to do, no matter, you know, law enforcement, you have to deal with negative people, angry people, and you just stay calm and you listen. So to stand there for...
Hassan, this is not it. You don't ignore what federal officers tell you to do, even if it's an illegal order, which it isn't. This is not how you conduct yourself in a normal world. There's laws, immigration laws. You can't block federal officers from doing their job just because you don't agree with them. I love that you're not even hearing me. I'm not even saying anything. It's actually a dude who worked in law enforcement at the federal level that's literally saying this was unlawful. This was an unlawful and unjust detainment. They didn't follow the book. And this still arguing with me like I'm saying it. You know, I'm not like a 75-year-old federal prosecutor, right? Like the person that's talking on screen is not me. Like I get it. Like everything you see, crusade enjoyer, everything you see can only be filtered through the lens of like, my least favorite content creator is saying this, so I must be against this. And my favorite content creator is saying, yeah, based, so I must be for this. But like, you can at least, instead of reflexively responding with whatever the fuck you think is the best counter position here, just listen to what the person is saying. This person, his name is Crusader Enjoyer, by the way. I don't think this person is like a fucking reasonable apolitical centrist anyway. It's a yeah-based bot. Sorry, I followed yesterday. I've been watching for the last 2 streams, just was now able to comment. Okay, listen to me. In this circumstance, I know everything you have been taught is to deep throat the boot to the best of your ability, but you got to lodge that boot out of your throat for a moment and try to comprehend what's going on here, okay? ICE agents do not have a legal jurisdiction to actually detain American citizens, okay? They are conducting, in the most like lawful manner, what their job is to look at civil offenders and apprehend them after, if they're, you know, going into a car or whatever. They actually don't have the capacity to apprehend someone in their own vehicle unless they have a search warrant. Same with the house. nor an ICE agent cannot go into your house, okay, unless they have a warrant. So that's number one. Number two, just because someone says, I'm an ICE agent, get the fuck out of your car and try to open the door of the car, doesn't mean that in that moment you have to comply, okay? In order to survive, just because, there are bad ICE agents out there, doesn't change the rules, okay? Like if the best practices for survival is to comply no matter what, sure, I understand what you're saying, but it doesn't matter. What they're doing in this circumstance is illegal, okay? They do us on. If those people are doing things to block federal officers of the vehicle, that's not legal, but sure, just don't ban me. I'm a good guy. You are adding additional things. She was not blocking a road. And even if she was blocking a road, okay, not only was she not blocking a road, you can see in the video because she's waving cars and she's like trying to merge into that lane too, personally. But even if she's blocking a road, that is a moving violation. That is a moving violation. The proper thing to do in that situation is, and ICE can't do anything about it because ICE is not a traffic cop. ICE is not a local law enforcement. ICE can only call the cops to get a police officer to come to the scene and give them a ticket for a moving violation, for blocking a road. Just so you understand. So not only are you wrong when you say, oh, well, she was blocking traffic. Clearly not happening. We can see cars moving past. She's waving them away, and she's also trying to leave personally. But not only that, not only was she not blocking the road, even if she was blocking the road, the proper thing that an ICE agent could do in that situation is call the cops, call local law enforcement to go there and issue her a ticket for blocking the road. What ICE agents can't do in that situation is run up to the door out of nowhere, guns blazing, demand that you get the out of your car, and then shoot and kill you when you are annoyed that this person even exists or this person has dared disrespect your authority. Okay? You and me don't know the full context. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. It's all over the footage. It's all over the footage. You might not know the full context, but don't say you and me don't know the full context. We know the full context. Even if they have a prior interaction where they told her to leave, she's in the process of leaving. You can't just like have other random ICE agents come over in their cars and decide to kill this person. That doesn't happen. If you believe in the Constitution and the rule of law, as it's very clear to me that none of these right-wingers understand it or care about it and will never defend it, okay? This is a severe violation. It's a violation of the Fourth Amendment. It's an unlawful execution where a public servant has decided in that moment of weakness and in a moment of anger, hurt ego, that they're just going to kill a random tax-paying American citizen. Like, what the fuck? There is no context that actually allows or justifies this state-sanctioned murder. There's no context.
Does it support domestic terrorism? Does it, at least up to that point, does it support intent to harm anybody? And the answer is no. I think this is another super sad situation where a lack of communication, I think, but certainly added to somebody being harmed. The simplest thing to do, no matter, law enforcement, you have to deal with negative people, angry people, and you just stay calm and you listen. So to stand there for 3 feet from the car, wave to her, ask her to put her window down, and talk to her for 5 seconds, she would have driven on. That didn't happen. Now, does that play into the officer shooting? Maybe or maybe not. If he thinks he's in harm's way and is in bodily harm range of this car, then he's going to say I was justified in shooting. But it's the snowball event. As I've
lawyer here, there are laws, but there are constitutional rights enshrined in the Bill of Rights that exist to protect you from law enforcement misconduct like unreasonable searches and seizures, cruel and unusual punishment, etc. These rights ensure that you are protected from complying with unlawful orders. Exactly. But I think a lot of people genuinely don't understand this. They genuinely don't realize that, like, there are rules here, okay? And rules were violated, not in the hands of the regular American taxpayer in this circumstance, but the rules that were violated by the ICE agent. The ICE agent actually violated all of the rules. And there are still people defending it. Like they have no care or consideration for their own safety. They don't realize that there's, this will come for them too.
Several times. It's what happens before these events that sometimes precipitates or adds to the event. And from my perspective, that's clearly what happened here.
As we continue to look at the video, Brad, thank you so much.
I can't believe it, man. I especially can't believe that like these guys actually came out of the gate swinging hot, thinking like, this is it. We did it. We found the new piece of evidence that justifies what we were saying all along. It's like, no, it doesn't actually. It doesn't even a little bit. You're a fucking idiot. Is death an appropriate punishment for protest? What are your political principles exactly? No, stop being dense. The death occurred because she drove at an officer with a 2-ton vehicle, putting him in reasonable fear of his life. The point of the story is to debunk this. She was just going out about her day canard, pushed by Adam Schiff, among many others, says Sohrab Ahmari from U.S. editor at Unheard, which is riding the administration into oblivion. The bullets did not stop the car. The car did not hurt the officer. He was able to step out of harm's way as she fled. He just decided to fire 3 bullets into her head in the process. His fear for his life was not reasonable. His life was not in danger. He was fine. You can say that on Twitter. You're not the one facing an incoming SUV. He's the one who stepped in front of the vehicle in violation of training. You cannot create unnecessary risk and then respond to the risk you created with 3 shots to the head. The risk was created by the person accelerating in the SUV in the direction of the officer. Again, wrong. That's not what happened. I also saw this from one of the chatters who sent me their own take, but new release footage reveals Renee Nicole's last words. Renee Nicole, good. That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Gunshots. ICE. Nick Field says, imagine Democratic leadership is as confident as the Democratic Party's Twitter account. The young Twitter posters on the Democratic Party side, the young staffers are far, far more radical and far more ready for the moment. Please, please, if there's one of my messages you read, let it be this. I have a neighbor that was coming home from a jog and ICE was on the block. They yelled at him to move his car, so he tried to reverse. They opened his door and yanked him out and dogpiled him, broke 3 ribs. This was Chicago. So similar to this situation, it has been happening. Yes. There are plenty of instances that don't lead to a high-profile murder where ICE has already brutalized random people. It happens all the time. Yes. That's the point. That's what we're mad about. Shot her 3 times in her face, called her as she bled out, and was named a hero by Trump. If an ICE thug can do this to a friendly mother in a car filled with her kids stuffies, who tells the thug, I'm not mad at you, there's nobody they can't do this to. 100%.
So
here's Jessica Tarkov's statement on this as well.
So, Jesse, you just said this woman is in severe crisis. She was boxed in. If you watch the whole video...
No, she was boxed in.
That's what she was boxed in.
No, I said the team was boxed in.
Okay, the team was boxed in by... Once she moved over, she pulled to the side, and then she actually waves another ICE officer past her, right? So she's in such severe crisis that she can be polite in traffic and say, you go ahead, and then you hear her actually audibly saying, I'm pulling out, right? She signals exactly what she's doing. She starts to move forward, and everyone should go and watch. The New York Times has about 3.5 minutes of footage coming from every angle. In this.
How many Proud Boys and ICE Boogaloo Boys you think are ICE agents? Many. If you noticed, the Proud Boys no longer actually march in the streets. I find that very strange. So they were a disorganized, decentralized militia movement for the fascists initially, and now they've actually become an organized fascist military unit under this administration. On Trump 1, they were a band of brigands doing street-level violence. And I think under Trump 2, they have become the black shirts or the brown shirts. And if you know anything about fascist history, that's exactly what happened with Mussolini's black shirts, and that's exactly what happened with the brown shirts under Hitler. That is exactly what happened. 1-to-1. A bunch of thugs got together and did street-level protests and violence all the time, sometimes deadly violence, as Proud Boys have engaged in, all right? And then those guys then became a serious military unit eventually. Mao's lesson is relevant today. Arming the lumpen. When ICE offered flashy rewards, a $50K signing bonus to politically radicalized but economically immobile men, albeit in a reactionary direction, they mobilized the most volatile segments of the state against the proletariat to commit domestic terror. Fragment the working class, steer public discontent towards ICE, and similar enforcers rather than bourgeois control of state infrastructure. It's a bourgeois state. that is infinitely better armed and better equipped and better trained and infinitely readier to destroy any sort of inclination of socialism than the Kuomintang, okay? It's not even a question. We are living in very different times here. I'm sorry. As much as I love this guy, okay? Mao Zedong, very, very different circumstances, very different set of circumstances.
This is what they brought up to President Trump when they were meeting with him last night when he said, you know, the officer, the brave officer, and after he tweeted, it's hard to believe that the officer is alive when he walked away completely unscathed. We can see that on video as well. But the footage contradicts the administration on almost every level of what they've said. Renee Good waving the vehicle by. The officer was to the side of the car when he drew the gun. He leaned over the hood for the first shot. You can see that on the angle too. That he fired 2 more shots at arm's length on a 90-degree angle. And it almost doesn't matter, actually, what she was doing because she didn't have another weapon.
They didn't leak it to make the shooter look innocent, but to make the victim look guilty. Not guilty of a crime, guilty of having a visibly queer wife, guilty of liberalism, guilty of opposing the regime. They don't seek to exonerate themselves, only to demonstrate who deserves to die. I do agree with that, yes. I think the first couple of days they were getting, like, there was a little bit of momentum here, talking about how, like, this is a white woman, this is a mom, and they really, really wanted to show, like, who is a viable target here. And the viability of like a white lady, it doesn't even matter. Even if she was a straight white woman, the very fact that she is protesting against ICE or is even in the vicinity of a fucking angry ICE agent is enough for people to say, it's over. You deserve to be killed. There is no amount of cruelty that this administration won't get on board with. That much is clear to me, okay? It's a viable target, post-mortem justification, post-hoc rationalizations, because she was saying no to the admin. And anyone that says no to the admin, anyone that says no to this administration deserves death. That's the point. Just like anyone who does criminal actions, like an insurrection, in the direction of this administration, in the direction of our big, beautiful president, gets away scot-free. That was the lesson that they were teaching by offering blanket pardons to the January 6th insurrectionists. And this is the second lesson that they're teaching to the cult. And it seems like many in the cult are actually listening. Okay? But what I'm trying to talk about here, is broader than this, right? Like where we go from here. Where we go from here, if we don't put an end to this, if we don't put a stop to this, if we don't actually raise our voice and say enough is enough, this is a turning point, you can't go any further from this point on, is going to be a much more dangerous future for America that a lot of people are not aware of, okay?
According to DOJ policy, which they should be in compliance with, it says deadly force may not be used solely to prevent the escape of a fleeing suspect. Firearms must be discharged at a moving vehicle unless a person is threatening deadly force by other means than the vehicle, and no other means of defense exist, including moving out of the path. He could clearly move out of the path because he did.
So just the shit they've been doing to minorities except white people too? Yes. And once these guys are doing it to white people too, it's over, right? And this is... Ironically enough, for white people, this is like, whoa, this is a scary moment. But for like every black and brown person in my chat, they recognize the danger of the administration justifying doing this to a white woman, right? An admin that does this to a 37-year-old white mother is doing infinitely worse shit to black and brown people. Everybody knows this. Everybody understands this. That's where we're at. It's crazy. And the goal here is to just completely squash dissent. No matter how violent you get, it's always appropriate, okay? Oh, you said Trump sucks? Sorry, you're dead now. You said Trump sucks? We're putting you in prison. Nothing you can do. Oh, you pissed me off? You pissed off a ICE agent? I'm an ICE agent? You frustrated me? Well, I have every right to kill you. I have every right to put you in jail. That's what's going on here. Lawbreakers are a target so dishonest, moves goalposts. No, that's exactly... Oh, chatter. Oh, chatter. What I'm trying to explain to you is what the administration's goal is here. That is the final goal, okay? I'm not moving a goalpost. I'm explaining to you what the admin's final goal here is. If they can get away with murder by claiming that this person was a lawbreaker, then one day you can be considered a lawbreaker too. Wake up. If you break the law and commit an insurrection, but you do it in a way that, you know, you do it for Big Daddy Trump, you get pardoned. You can do the I will comply when an officer told me to stop all day, every day. This is not an argument. Cops are not God. They're not the judge, jury, and executioner. There is a constitution for this reason that offers every citizen, every person, protection against this sort of thing. And you're still literally arguing against it. You're arguing against it. Okay, what if a cop is off and just kills your friend when you're walking down the street? Sorry, you should have complied. That's the argument that people are making. What then? What do you do then? Not only was this guy not a cop and an ICE agent, which means that they have even less legal jurisdiction to detain you, no jurisdiction whatsoever to detain you. You go to court. Oh, okay. Well, this is going to go to court. Not that it matters because the FBI is obviously protecting another, another member of federal law enforcement in this situation. GG's, I guess. Your friend died. Is that what you're saying? Like, even in a hypothetical scenario, you can't even say, like, no, I think that'd be fucked up. I would argue against it. What if it wasn't Nicole Good? What if it was your mom trying to do a fucking K-turn in front of a cop and the cop thought she was a and shot her and killed her? What do you do? Would you say she should have followed the command of the officer? That's what you would say. Moment of chaos, moment of panic. Your mom is getting out of her driveway. Cops think she is a threat in that moment. Not even a cop. An ICE agent thinks, get the fuck out of the car. She panics. She moves forward. The building doesn't meet the state mandated 35. What? Serious. I don't think that was her point. Do you have an argument that doesn't have insults? You don't win debates with insults. Okay. Oh, comply. Okay, got it. That's a hag on the right. That's a witch, bro. That's a witch, bro. Nah, he watches Asman for content. He does that during anything he doesn't want to hear. Why? He even gets ratioed on Twitter. Possibly that you're reacting to leftism that continues to get more extreme. She casting spells. Hasanabi is cooked. Maybe Hasanabi doesn't understand how cars work with his chauffeur. Notice how you have to, like, make up totally alternative reality hypotheticals here. Hassan was literally hurling insults at his chat just 2 days ago. Why you got my dick in your brain, dude? It's lodged in the back of your dome. It's so strange, dude. This behavior is so weird to me. This guy literally said if an ICE agent killed her mom, he would just say, oh, just comply, lol. You're nothing. You're nothing. You're wearing it like a badge of honor on your chest that you are less than nothing. How do you expect me to take you seriously when you have already decided that you're not even a human being? You're just a vessel for MAGA talking points. Can't trust anyone who bases their morality solely on legality. Servile ass people. Yeah, ironically enough, they're not even basing their morality solely on legality because it is illegal. What the cop did here is illegal. Ironically enough, it's not only immoral, but also illegal. It's a twofer. So they lose on both of those arguments. They don't have any moral system that they're operating off of. It's just pure vibes. Here's another legal expert.
Back with us, Michael Feinberg, former special agent in charge with the FBI and an MS Now national security and intelligence analyst.
Kaya,
this is very different from the videos we've seen before.
Kaya.
What do you see from an investigative standpoint?
Frankly, law enforcement officers overreacting to what admittedly might be some sarcastic and lightly combative civilians, but I don't see a situation that would require the application of deadly force. You know,
I lean Republican, but no murder should ever be correct. Be the correct way unless the life was in immediate danger. There's always two sides to everything, but seeing any murder is in fact not the correct way. Yeah, I think there are a lot of people like that. Going back to your earlier point, what would it take for the admin to understand enough is enough? They don't care about being evil and have all the power and legislative influence to stay in power. So how much pushback would it take? There's been groups of massive protests since the beginning of the admin, and stuff is only getting worse. Not being a doomer, just curious what the best course of action is for U.S. citizens. I think we just got to keep pressuring. We got to keep pushing. and you got to get the Democrats to also do something. Like you got to get the Democrats to throw legislative hurdles in their direction over and over again. And you have to keep this pressure cooker going. Okay, that's it. And you have to get the organizations on board. You got to get the labor unions on board, work stoppages, things like that. There's no other way to get out of the situation. It is going to be, this is our opportunity to engage in the most peaceful means possible. Okay? Because if this administration continues along the trajectory that's going down, it's not going to be peaceful 5 years down the line if we get there. Okay? It's not. It's going to turn into like actual conflict. It's going to turn into a real civil war. I don't know why these guys don't understand that. I don't know why most people don't understand that. Those who make peaceful dissent impossible make violent revolution inevitable. Okay? We're already at conflict. Come on, dude. I agree. I know. Do you think I don't see it? I'm saying it every day. The only thing that has like basically stopped this from genuinely turning into like the only thing that stopped this from genuinely turning into a civil war is that like a lot of liberals are still holding on to this notion that like Democrats will do something here. When they start realizing that Democrats aren't doing something here, when they start realizing that the law is not on their side at all, when they're all alone and the only thing they have is other people, there will be more chaos. There will be more decentralized versions of violence as well. There will be adventurists. I don't want that to happen. That is tremendous. That is a tremendous amount of pain. These people are incapable of not lying about this side window. You can see the photos of the car with the bullet holes. The shots came from the front of the car because that's where the officer was standing when he was hit by the car. He's allowed to discharge his weapon in self-defense. Yeah, JD Vance is just lying. Side window. First shot comes after he's clear of the direction of the SUV. Takes out his swaps. His phone. Hold on. State puppets. Oh my God. I mean, it's JD Vance. He is literally the puppet of the state. Okay. Jonathan Ross swaps his phone to his non-dominant and take out his service weapon. He can clearly see Renee moving her of the direction of the SUV by the time he fires the first shot, second and third through the side window. You look rugged, man. Thank you, I guess. I don't know. Synced video with his phone because people think he got hit. Shaking my head. Did you see this already? Yes, I did. I did see it. Sorry for the spam, but Jesse is the GOAT. Wait, hold on. Yeah, bullet holes is just lying. Like, he's just lying. Do we have a screenshot of Renee moving her steering wheel right? You're all free to unfollow. He shot her already evading the car, which seconds before was stationary. This was murder. The shot placement proves it. One an inch from the edge of the windshield, one through the driver's side window, one through her rear view mirror. It's crazy because like even the crypto guys are like openly despising the administration. Even there's like Groypers and that are that I've seen are like off somehow at the admin. I don't know how that happened. Hold on. I'm gonna say Ross swaps his phone to his non-dominant hand to take out his weapon while he can clearly see Renee moving her steering wheel right. Both his feet are clear of the direction of the SUV by the time he fires the first shot. Second and third come through the side window. Lying. Has Trump approval dropped because of this? I don't even know. They haven't. Only 43K viewers. You fell off, man. I know. I'm gonna kill myself. One of them is mad about him being in an interracial marriage. Breaking news. Jonathan E. Ross, ICC killed Renee Good as a race mixer married to a Filipino. Right-winger sees Gestapo gangster shoot an innocent woman in the face 3 times. You know the problem here is interracial marriage. I don't know if this person is actually mad that it's an interracial marriage or is talking, using stupid terminology to say this, but like I think the point that they're trying to make is that this guy would literally shoot his wife. Okay. One of his colleagues would just as easily shoot his wife. He's an ICE agent who has a Filipino wife. Like, what are we doing here? All right. This was the other faraway footage that they were trying to use last night.
As the vehicle passes, you can see the dark-colored SUV driven by Renee Nicole Good. That's on the right there in the back. The surveillance video taken by a home nearby. Agents can be seen milling about near the vehicle, then converging on it, and then...
Oh, never mind. He's a right-winger. He's saying, no, he is. He is a right-winger.
You see right there, the SUV begins to move, and that's when the shots are fired.
Like, you can see, you can even see in this circumstance, from this angle, Hassan is the easiest country to rage bait. Twitch drama ZZZ, we do not care. I want to see what you say on Asmongold's chat.
Now, prior to this, the video shows the SUV had been stationary and sideways across the road like that for about 3 minutes. The reason for that is unclear.
CNN has obtained some new video. Again, it's grainy and distant, but it shows 4 full minutes leading up to the shooting. It shows Renee Good's maroon Honda Pilot entering from the right there. Then 20 seconds later, someone gets out on the passenger side. We don't know who or why this person leaves the car. We then see her turn and pull perpendicular across the street, seeming to block the way. But as you see here, leaving room for vehicles to pass by her on either side. Finally, there's this new angle of the federal officer who shot her. He arrives. Another federal SUV pulls up. As the ICE officer briefly goes back to his car, then he returns, and with another agent grabbing at her door, she starts to move forward. Again, it's hard to see from this angle, followed by 3 gunshots in quick succession. 4 minutes in all from start to finish. But for all the video that may reveal, it says nothing about why Renee Good was where she was or what she was doing there. And it's not all we don't know.
I can't believe they're still manufacturing consent for this, like the viability of this, you know? It's crazy. Anyway, here is another law enforcement person analyzing the situation.
The reason law enforcement officers are supposed to be vetted before they join, and the reason they go through extensive training, is that two of the qualities you need to exhibit the most are emotional maturity and an ability to keep your cool. And getting heckled, getting videotaped, anything related to those two activities, that's part of the job. Somebody filming you on a cell phone and giving you sass is not a threat to your life. It's not even a threat to your safety. It's a minor annoyance at best. And I'm also really curious, why on earth is a law enforcement officer filming an interaction with a civilian on his cell phone? They're not influencers. They're not social media posters. If you're there to do a job as an agent of the federal government, do the job. You don't need to be making content in the midst of it.
I don't want to make any presumptions, and I have not seen the posts that were made by J.D. Vance or by the White House, but I'm presuming they believe that this may support their argument that there was a reasonable belief, a justifiable belief on the part of the ICE officer that he was in danger. Do you see that?
No, I don't. And look, J.D. Vance was admittedly in the military, but he was in civil affairs. I don't know that he has any familiarity whatsoever with law enforcement procedures. And as far as I know, prior to becoming president, Donald Trump actively avoided all forms of public service whatsoever. So I'm quite sure he doesn't understand what goes into a law enforcement tactical decision. These are people who, not just reasons for propriety, but also for reasons of ignorance, really should not be commenting on any of this until there is a thorough, objective investigation.
Brandy, let me bring you back in. And I just wonder, as someone who has looked at some of this kind of investigative material before, if there's anything you see that's different from what we've seen in videos before, something that stands out to you,
Oh my God,
Brandy.
Megaphonics. Oh my God, Megaphonics. I'm going to cover the modern day Anne Frank situation. I promise, okay? Please stop spamming it.
Well, one thing that stands out to me is the question that was just brought up. Why is this person filming? And Ross did testify in December at during the
Chatter of the year over here.
trial in December that they do not wear cameras on their body. They do not wear body cam, and they do not have dashboard cams as well. Not saying that that has anything to do, but I'm just
2 days in a row, bro. 2 days in a row.
they don't have cameras. So his cell phone would have possibly been the only camera he had. You know, I've seen a lot of these videos from every angle now, and I'm looking at JD Vance's tweet, and he says, you know, that many of you say that the officer wasn't hit by a car, wasn't being harassed, and I still don't see him being hit by a car or I think the woman said, like, I'm not mad at you. They seem to be, you know, generally sparring with him, which we see in these videos a lot. That's correct. This is part of the tactic of these ICE watchers to goad sometimes and to execute or to enjoy their rights as citizens to film and be on public streets.